Awesome, cool. Here we go.
Hi, guys. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, seriously,
Dog, go lay down, please.
dude,
Sorry, our dog is annoying.
what a good week.
Yeah.
Kenneth, hey, Greg C, hey, Crowbar Jones in the house. What's up, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what a week.
What a week.
Uh, we had some sound issues, so you're gonna. This is gonna sound weird as hell, but you're gonna have to eat that mic, my love.
Oh,
Because I had to turn the mics down. Wad zombie, what's up? Woo.
yep. Yep.
Um,
Before you, is it crazy? Because I feel like even though we had such a busy, crazy, incredible week with so many, like, talked to so many people or whatever, I kind of can't remember who we talked to, and I kind of can't remember what we talked about. Do you ever feel that when, like, there's so many conversations that are had at the same time?
yeah, I feel like we talked to Ariel Lowen so long ago, and it wasn't so long ago, right?
I
Like,
feel like we talked to Chase so long ago, and it was 2 days ago.
yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool, and it was very cool that everybody agreed to come on the show with us. It was super fun,
Mhm.
and to start off, it started with our tattoos. So we got our vows tattooed on our leg,
Mhm.
and it's really big on our
Yeah.
thigh.
Yeah.
And so we like,
No, there will be no
I mean, I have a photo, but I don't know how to. I'm not gonna put it on Instagram,
That's
and
what I
I
was
don't
gonna
know how to
say.
like.
No future.
Yeah. Um,
But I'll find you a picture right now, so.
And then, yeah, if you do, if you can pull it up, that would be awesome. But it started with that because we both got our tattoos done the same day. Like it was our anniversary present to each other, even though our anniversary is in August. But and then Ellie Hiller coming on and crushing it for, she came on that Wednesday, I feel like, and then she was on all weekend long, and she came on and crushed it. And that girl is just,
Mhm.
she's just fire.
Yep.
She's going on Jason CF Media's podcast tomorrow with Wooly, and I'm pumped to see that.
Yeah.
Wad zombie, please tell me you got matching scissor tattoos.
We did
Like,
not. We did not. But this one right here is kind of,
yeah,
the
that's
gist
it,
of it. This is in a different font, and then
it's a
this
Corinthians
yeah,
tattoo. It was cool.
this one is in cursive. It's more script or whatever, but it's pretty much written just like this, and got it same spot
Yeah,
on our left thigh, and, we both wanted well, I wanted it on my forearm, and the tattoo artist literally said,
there's no
"There's
space.
no space." So
Greg C, y'all are crushing it. Provides an awesome space to hear from media personalities. All the guests have been inspiring. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks so much. We just feel like,
Hi, Jake.
oh,
If you want a link,
oh, hello, Jake.
you have to like
Yeah, I
let
mean,
me know if you want a link,
I
bro.
mean, you always have questions,
Yeah.
so if you want
If
to
you want
ask
to jump
me
on,
questions,
come
then
on.
you
It's your
can,
one time to talk to Colleen. If you
because
want to
I will
talk to
not
Colleen.
hang with the boys when you guys are all on. Um, I mean, that honestly for us has been the number one compliment and feedback that we've gotten from every single guest that we've been lucky enough to meet through the CrossFit space, whether it's the analysts, whether it's the media, whether it's the athletes, is that coming on ours is very refreshing because we're able to ask different type of questions. And I'm not saying that people from a sports perspective don't want to know the sports talk. You know what I mean? Don't want to know,
Of course
um,
they don't want.
how
Yeah.
you train, what you eat. Fans want to hear that because there are so many fans out there that are aspiring to be very close to what they show is possible. So having those same questions, um, Jake Chapman.
I think, dude, bro, Jake Chapman, I do have questions, but I'm a little fatigued from intercourse
At
at present.
present.
Okay, fair. Also fair. I get that. It's relaxed time. It's take a nap time and
And you
Gatorade.
choose to come hang out with us after. So, I
Uh,
mean,
it's cool.
But everybody has said that it's very refreshing to come and talk to us, and I think it's because we just ask and want to know different perspective. As a couple, we want to talk couple stuff. As fans, we want to ask the fan questions. You know, like so I think for me, and I think maybe you can, support me
As
on that.
parents, we want to talk parent
Yeah.
questions. Like it just it's you know, I don't know. It was fun. Ellie Hiller brought a lot, and I was super excited to get to know her and chat with her.
Mhm.
It was just she was so cool. And I'm excited for her to go on Jason CF Media tomorrow with Wooly.
Mhm.
Uh, like I'm excited for a lot of things. It was cool. And then what the Ariel Lowen podcast didn't even didn't know that she would say yes or come on the podcast, and just to hear her with Dylan, like now I want to see her interact with Dylan, and it's fun because they're putting out
Did you see the Father's Day reel I just
yeah,
sent
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so fun to see them having such a good time and just being silly and being themselves. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so
As
fun.
a couple, it's very fun to see other couples enjoy each other like that, because you hear so many times on so many different platforms, and we've talked about this before. I don't know if it's because the shift in society and the pressure of, you know, the way that communities are now or whatever, like the idea of being happy in a marriage and being happy with your person and having a best friend and your partner or whatever isn't, I don't think it's as celebrated as it used to be. And so it's very nice to see how much they support each other, and just having the conversation from, with her, and hearing her perspective, but then also seeing them have so much fun in the reels and the behind the scenes. I don't know if you were able to check it out yet, babe, but they did a show on their YouTube. And so what's up?
What's up, Jay?
um on their YouTube about like their own personal behind the scenes of when she was competing, and it's just so fun to see them together.
Yeah, it really is, and I also enjoyed her saying that she can't trust other athletes telling her how workouts go and whatnot.
Mhm.
Like, it was fun because then we got to see the behind the scenes. If you haven't, gotten to see the behind the scenes of Sevon's at the Northeast, when Taylor tells is trying to oh, who was it? It was, shoot. Help me out. Who is he? He was telling what? Oh my god. Oh, Hopper. Sorry. In my mind, it was going Flopper because of all of the all of the Sevon posts, but like
Mhm.
Hopper, he was telling Jason. Hopper was asking him what was the time, and Taylor was like, "Dude, sub 20." Like he wouldn't tell him the entire time.
He
And that
did.
was fire. And when Ariel was like, "Hey, I can't trust these athletes out here because they're not going to tell me the honest truth."
Mhm.
That was funny. Like, it was
Yeah.
fun, and now I get it. I
Yep.
see it. You can see it behind the scenes. It was so cool. So, hey, Kenneth, what's up, my guy?
You did.
It
You
we love you,
did.
bro. Um,
Welcome. We appreciate you.
so that was really cool, and the fact that she let that like, she's not gonna ask any more questions from athletes because they don't tell her the correct things or, like, the things that she would tell other athletes, like, that
Mhm.
was fun. So
I just, and I sent this message to her personally or whatever. I mean, we always do. We're very grateful and value the time that, these athletes and professionals in the space and all of that type of stuff, that they agree to come on and they give up the time and to come talk to us and, give us the opportunity. And I thanked her and I said, just from a mother, like mother to mother, I appreciated how open, how vulnerable, and how real she was when she just would say how it was, and what was important to her, and the seasons that she goes through, and the communication that her and Dylan have, and the reminders. Sometimes we don't like reminders, and sometimes it's hard to hear the truth. We've talked about like looking in the mirror and having that, but also as partners, like we are each other's mirrors sometimes. And so for her to be like, yeah, it kind of hits me in the chest sometimes. However, he's my person. I trust my person to be able to receive that for what it is. And so I just appreciate that from a mother and a partner's, a wife's perspective of just like this is real life and this is how we are, and you know what I mean? So I thought that was just so cool for her. I mean, I feel like they've all been very open and honest. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, and they really have been, and we talked about it with Ariel. I think that they're so accessible on a level
Mhm.
that it you just can't fathom,
Mhm.
and it really is the next ones that I would like to talk to are fathers. Like, I would like to talk to Travis Mayer, I'd like to talk to Saxon to see what the same version that we talked to Ariel about,
Mhm.
what their version of that is, like leaving their wife at home with kids. Do are their wives like that? Are they just at home and they help them through everything? Like, I wanna know all those things,
Mhm.
from a guy's perspective.
Mhm.
Just I don't know, just because I think everybody tries to tell us that it's wrong, right? Like,
Yeah.
you you shouldn't have that person at home that does all that stuff for you. And as Ariel said, like, she likes it. She wants to do that for him. She wants to help him
She wants
even
to be home with her daughter. She gets to be home with her daughter, and
yeah,
she talked about it from a gift. What a gift
yeah,
is what she said. What a gift this was. Is to be able to be home. Yeah, Judy, we were talking about that before. Yeah, so funny.
yeah.
Their reel is so funny.
Jonathan Ortega, Ariel is so fun to be with. I would imagine that she would be. Like,
Mhm.
she was fun on the podcast. She's just real. She's happy to talk about it. I am sad sometimes that I don't get to talk about their faith with them as long, but I I also wanna get to just showcase them in a way, and I don't have that much time, you know what I mean? Like, there's a time factor into it, so
Mhm.
it was cool. It was fun. Um Jonathan Ortega, Travis's kids were at the East to see him compete. I know, I saw that. That was so cool for the first time ever. It was super cool to watch. Yeah, it was for us too. Even just sitting at home and watching them on the big screen at home, it was so fun to see, uh, like, him have his kids there. It
Mhm.
it really was, and that's why I really wanna talk to him. I really wanna know, what's that like? What's that like being away from your kids as a dad? What's that like being away from your wife? With you know,
Mhm.
he talked about it a little bit in the behind the scenes of the Seven podcast,
Mhm.
and that's kinda what fired me up. Like, I wanna know what that's like because when you and the baby leave to go visit the family and I can't go.
And I'm not even gone that long.
Yeah, and it's only it's the same amount. It's kinda like 2 to 3 days.
Mhm.
It I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
I'm literally a housewife running around, like, putting up curtains, cleaning stuff, making sure, like, everything that you want done is done by the time you get home. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
wanna know how they feel if there's dad guilt. We always talk about mom guilt. I wanna know if there's dad guilt
Mhm.
sometimes.
Mhm.
So, I think the next ones that I wanna try to do is to see if there's the same thing on the dad side.
Yeah.
Um, but that was super cool. And then, yeah, we didn't get to touch on Ellie Hiller. That was so fun. I was so happy that she agreed to do that weekend with us.
Mhm.
That
Shout
was
out
fire.
to Jason
Yeah.
that came to hang out with us in the middle of the night.
And Jethro.
And
And Jethro, thank you for
Jethro.
coming to hang out with us, dude. CrossFit Chief Nation.
Yep.
That was so much fun. It was something that I've never done and I wanted to try to do, and it was really nice of all of them to help me try to figure out if I could actually do it
Mhm.
and handle the
It's a
chat.
lot. So I give a lot of credit. We give a lot of credit. We were talking about this today at lunch. We give a lot of credit to like Sevon and Chase and Bill and all of those platforms that just do these shows nonstop, especially at semis and at the games, and where it's and Lauren and all of those people that just are nonstop doing all of this day after day after day after day. Like,
It's incredible what they do.
it's incredible, and to have that much energy, not just physical energy, but mental energy to keep the conversation going and to have those questions on hand. And I know that that obviously takes time and repetition and that kind of stuff, but kudos and bravo to you guys, because we did it for one weekend from the comfort of our own home and we were tired.
Dude, tired, so tired. And then I didn't realize what had happened was I had scheduled all that, and then all of a sudden Ariel Lowen said yes, and then all of a sudden, Sevon said yes, and then all of a sudden, Pedro was in my phone, and then
And John
John
Woolley,
Woolley, and it was just
everyone was like, "Hey, I've got time." And
so kudos to the Sevon verse, because
Mhm.
dude, if you don't know what it's like, it's a crazy whirlwind of I don't even know what,
Mhm.
and I wasn't even doing a show at a set time every day,
Yeah.
and then have to do 3 shows later in the afternoon, and I was just doing 1 show a day for a week, no matter whose show it was. So that was really cool. Thank you to Jason for coming on. That was awesome. Ellie for giving us her time.
Mhm.
And it was so fun to watch her. Like, I want to talk about that, how much fun it was that we were so invested in Ellie Hiller that watching the beginning heats
Was fun.
it was fire.
Mhm.
Like, I had such a great time. I didn't care. I was like, "Oh, let's just find Ellie. Oh, let's just find Taylor. Oh,
Mhm.
let's just find," you know,
Mhm.
and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So that
Well, and you gotta tell us. You gotta tell the crew. Go ahead.
Ken
You can read that first.
Kenneth Lap been separated from my wife and kids since October. Definitely dad guilt, but they're coming back next week. Oh, Kenneth, you're gonna have to tell us about that's something I really wanna know about.
Yeah.
So DM me something, let me know so I can talk about it.
Mhm.
Um,
You have to share with them. How was Pedro's show?
so Pedro's gonna make fun of me for this, but I'll admit it on this show anyway. And if he sees it, he is more than welcome to make fun of me for it.
He can clip it.
You can clip it. Clip it. Uh, I don't I don't do emails. I I do emails for the link, like I know how to send somebody a link to a show, and I know how to, like, get a link and then go on a show. But I don't check emails often.
Right. And that day,
And
you
s
had to work literally until 2 minutes before showtime.
and so I was assuming that I was gonna get the questions the day before, which I did.
Mhm.
It might have been 2 days before. I don't even know because I don't check emails. But when he put up the, thumbnail, I saw the topics on the thumbnail, so I wrote those down. So I started answering the thumbnail questions, but the thumbnail questions aren't explained.
Mhm.
So I
Of,
was
like,
in
where he's going,
yeah,
exactly
what
what.
he actually wants.
Right.
So I'm sure I look like a complete douchebag when I went on his actual show because we're behind the scenes before he goes live. And for the what was it? The good, the bad, the ugly.
Mhm.
I asked him, I was like, "Hey, what did you mean by the good, the bad, the ugly?" And so he tells me what he means by that, and he gives me examples, and I I'm like, but he's like, "If you use the examples that I just gave you, I'm gonna dock you 85 points." And I was like, "Fair."
Mhm.
So I'm just writing them down. You can see me as the show goes live. I'm still writing because I have to figure this out. I didn't open the email to his questions all the way. So I didn't see how well he broke down what answers he wanted to the questions.
But I saw them because
But
I set up the computer for you so that you could just 3, 2, 1, go. And also we were having difficulty for whatever reason, like clicking the link. So she couldn't get into the studio. So
yeah,
of course that was the fixation of holy shit, I can't even get into the studio to get on or whatever. But I read the whole email. I was like, okay, am I missing anything? No, she got the questions. Cool, blah, 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 blah. So I read the email.
So I'm a complete idiot. And he must have thought I was a complete douchebag. And of course, I'm on there with people that it's Jake Marconi and Brandon Swan. And I love Brandon Swan. I know Jake Marconi, obviously. Like I like Jake Marconi. I follow everything that he does. But Brandon Swan, I've been a fan of for a very long time. Like I remember him from behind the scenes or all of the CrossFit game, like the documentaries. And so am I, and they are so cool. Everybody's so cool. Pedro's cool. They're cool. It was fun. They laughed when they realized I was cool. Then they were cool. It was a good time. But I'm literally, as he's explaining questions, like, oh, that's what he meant by those questions. But I had never opened the email to read the questions. So Pedro, I'm sorry, bro. Like you are.
But the best part is she almost won.
I did.
She almost won, and her answers were really good, and she was really funny. My favorite still was I think it was the bad. It was either the bad or the ugly, where you were like watching Roman row for 3 minutes from a really terrible
from an overhead view.
Yeah. And I was on my way to pick up our son, and I was dying. It was so funny.
The thing that he clipped for me, which I knew he was going to clip for me, was the I'm a 30-second girl kind of thing. But I thought I was giving a good shout out to dudes being like, yeah, I'm a good 30-second girl, dude. So a minute is a long time. If you're a minute man, that's a long time. I thought that was fair. I thought I should have got points for that.
Well, I just thought
like shouting out the dudes.
I just saw one of those.
Judy Reed Garrett is one of those people who.
Yes, she is. Annoyingly so. Yes, she is. I just saw a reel where a woman was like on the stair stepper or whatever. She's like, all right, guys, just so you know, if anybody ever told you that 3 minutes is not a long time, they lied.
Yeah, they
because
lied.
3 minutes is a very, and she keeps looking at her watch, very, very
I thought it was a good shout out to men all over the world. Like 30
so funny.
Talking for 30 seconds is a long fucking time. So I don't know what a minute, but good job, guys. Like yes.
But you did great, and it was really fun to
watch.
It
was fun. It was a really fun show. He's a really fun dude. All the guys that I was on with were really fun. It was a good time. So
yeah. So bravo to you on that. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm a complete idiot. I didn't read the email. So my bad, Pedro. Love you. But I bought your shirt. Go to Vindicate. I bought the Coffee Pods and Wads shirt. And also I got my Kill Taylor shirt because that's fire for me.
We got the good stuff.
Good
stuff. So that was Wednesday.
And then
Thursday.
John Woolley came on.
Mr. Woolley.
That was fun.
The Memeth.
He was awesome. He was it was really awesome. And I do appreciate you, bro, for coming on. It was
and sharing all of our stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I mean,
I don't know how to do that.
Talk about someone that knows how to market. Like,
yeah,
appreciate that. And
fire.
It was very, very cool to see all of those. And they're going on
they're going on Jason CF Media with Ellie Hiller tomorrow at 4. I'm a 3-minute man. I feel redeemed. See, that's what I was going for. I was going for that. I was trying to help you all out. And then Sevon's show. It was really funny because there was one comment on Sevon's show that was like, "Hey, are we going to talk about Sevon?"
No,
not on his show. I'll talk about him on my show, but I'm not going to talk about him on his show.
And I don't think he really wanted you to talk about him on his show.
Yeah, I don't think that was a thing that
he wants you to talk about other things on his show. And it was cool that Chase came and hung out with us again, and we were able to have a conversation. How did you feel being able to talk sports?
It was really fun. I mean, by then I didn't realize how tired I think I was going to be, and also we had I don't know what it is. Every time Chase comes on, there's an echo. And I don't know if it's our microphones because his microphone is so powerful, or the volume on his microphone that our microphones pick it up. I don't know. But I'm attempting to play with sound on our podcast to make sure that doesn't happen again with him, because that it sucked. That
Mhm.
was the only thing. Other than that, it was super fun.
Yeah.
I love talking about sports. I wish we could have he gave me and I felt bad about the dude that called. I'll say that. The
I
guy that
hope I hope that he reached out to him actually, like, personally, because it was
I
funny,
hope he
you
did DM Chase.
yeah,
Like, I felt bad, but Chase gave me an hour. He was like, "Hey, I have an hour, and then it's a hard stop." And I was like, "Okay." And that dude was on, and I was watching, and I was like, "I have one more question to ask Chase." And we had like 3 minutes left,
yeah.
and I was like, "I love you, my guy. You're gonna have
Go DM
to."
him. We all
I
said it.
was
We
like,
were like, "Go DM
"M
Chase.
we
He'll answer all those programming questions and whatever." And, I'm sure that for Chase too, like, yeah, he nerds out on that stuff. He talks about programming all the time, but I'm sure he was enjoying just talking about sports with you, not the program part of it. And I'm pretty sure you talked about programming like 100 times last week because he was with
he was
Taylor
on Shut Up and
Self.
Scribble."
Yeah, he was on all
So,
those ones, his
yeah.
own and that kind of stuff. So I'm sure he just was like, yeah, I'll answer all the questions, but I kind of want to finish this conversation that we were in the middle of having. So
No, and
hopefully he did. And then Jet called, which was super cool too.
yeah. No, if that guy, like, dude, if you ever call back, I'm more than happy to, let you. I'm grateful that you called to see if we could check the phone line, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to talk to Chase.
Yeah.
I was like, but in my mind, I only had 3 to 4 minutes left to talk to Chase before he had to go,
Yeah.
and then he ended up staying, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad he stayed, and it was so much fun that he stayed.
Mm. But we
But
were on a time limit.
but I
So it's
in my
not
mind,
personal. It's
yeah, it
not
wasn't personal, my
personal,
guy, like, it was fine.
but it's all good. It's all good.
But thank you for calling in, and then Jet called in, that was awesome. I don't know why it didn't work the first couple times, but that was super cool,
Mhm.
and, yeah, it was fun. It's just like, going and doing this Sevon podcast is just, like, his behind the scenes is just so much bigger than you would ever imagine than what ours is. So it's and kind of trying to learn how to manage the chat, and I'm doing it on my own now too with you. Like, you help me, I help you, like, we're good. We're trying to manage it on our own and bring stuff up on screen
Yep.
and when to pull up comments and all that stuff is it's super fun to learn. Um and we're getting there. It's a good time. It's just way bigger than you could ever imagine, like, that it is. Kenneth, you guys in Seven are the only interviewers that have been able to take a guest I personally don't like or know too little about and legit turn me into a big fan of theirs.
Cool.
Big kudos, dude.
We'll take that.
Appreciate you.
We'll take that.
Appreciate you. That's awesome.
So yeah, pod week was crazy.
Pod week was crazy. And then Greg C, that's a weekly banger. Chase is fire. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Chase is a cool dude.
Jonathan Ortega, I hit a PR recently with that mindset, then go me. Good job, dude. Congrats. Uh, Learning how to do this and learning how to run behind the scenes is super fun. It's also like
It's also really cool because we did as many shows as we did, and they were all different type of conversations with different type of people. And
yeah.
I think that that was the coolest part about it, whether it was Ellie, just us, or it was Ellie with Jason the first day, the second day, whatever. Then it was Ariel, and then you went on Pedro and you had a different type of conversation. Yeah, it was a game, but you guys were having conversation on there. And then, John Willie on Thursday. Like, it was cool that it was just very different conversations. And even though CrossFit was in a way woven into most of those conversations, it wasn't the same it wasn't the same conversation. We were asking we could ask a similar question and get a very different response and perspective from each person. So I think for me, that probably was the coolest part about all of them, is that they all were different perspectives on a similar conversation in different parts of the conversation. So I thought that was cool.
I would definitely call Sevon a mentor, and I would definitely say that I've had a lot of help from a lot of people. Chase, uh, freaking Lauren, Khalil, Athena, all of them have always told me, like, get your reps in. You have to practice and you have to not be scared of uh like bad podcasts and
Mhm.
bad abilities to talk. Like you can't. You just have to keep going. You have to just keep getting reps in. And it's been super fun to do that, and I get that now, and it's a good time, and we have a good time, and we're just gonna keep trying, and we're just gonna keep diving in and seeing what sticks, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's
Mhm.
a good time.
Yeah, Mercedes was really cool, Kenneth, and we're planning on having her
Oh, yeah.
come on again. She's super cool and super awesome. We'll be back and we're gonna have those type of
Yeah,
conversations
we're gonna
again.
get Super Awesome back, yeah, and
Mhm.
Mercedes, it's funny that that podcast actually picked up, later on,
Mhm.
but it's a good topic for Pride Month,
Mhm.
which we'll get into later, but, we did so thank you to everybody that helped us this week. This week was amazing.
All of you guys for always being in here,
Yeah,
supporting us,
and the
promoting
chat,
us,
yeah, thank
sharing
you,
our stuff.
and
And
thank you for helping us practice.
yep.
Like, I really appreciate it. It's awesome, and yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Uh, Autism, the new autism,
The baby.
fixation that the baby has.
Yes.
So he had one when he was very little, like 3, right? So he knew every, and I know this is ridiculous, but he knew every car type. Like, he
Mhm.
could tell you what a BMW was, he could tell you what a Ford was, he could tell you the make and model of every car that went around. Then it was street names, right? He could tell you how to get from A to Z and tell you the street names, make a left, make a right, make a whatever.
Mhm.
And was there one in between that? Now it's, oh, the weather.
The weather.
Then it
Yeah.
was the weather.
Yep.
He could tell you what the weather was gonna be anywhere in the world, pretty
Mhm.
much. Or yeah, pretty much
Mhm.
anywhere in the world.
Mhm.
Now it's countries and cities and continents and whatever. And if you wanna shift your can you shift your computer so they can I like, that is him literally writing, like, Belize, France, Slovakia, Italy, Norway, Peru,
And
and
yes, that's his where is it?
that's
That's
his
his
writing.
beautiful handwriting right
He
there.
wrote it.
Mhm.
Like, he's telling us cities and countries that we probably didn't even know. Like, he wanted us to tell him what the flag was for Belgium today, and then he was like, "Look it up."
Mhm.
Wad Zombie. Does he retain it? Like, can he still tell you about the Yeah, for sure.
Can he though?
Yeah, ask him the cars.
Okay, because I haven't heard it in a while, so,
Because he gets so fixated on one, but, like,
yes.
if you, because we have a store, like, we have a deli, and then behind our deli is a fishing shop, and the fishing shop's really cool. He loves the guy that owns it.
Very nice to him, very,
Yeah,
very good to him, yeah.
loves him. They
Mhm.
have a great time together. He now knows about eels and lures because they have live eels over there. So
Yeah,
he's going over there and playing with eels.
yep.
He's got
And
l
when he's outside, if he's drawing chalk and stuff like that, then it's back to maps and,
yeah.
drawing the map and roads and signs and exits and that kinda stuff. So
He'll do silly things like he was making a map in chalk on the concrete the other day, and
yep,
he made Ellie Hiller Road
he did.
because 'cause we've been
He
talking
did.
about Ellie Hiller so
Yep.
much, but also all the other roads made sense. Like
Mhm.
exit 27 for us, Montauk Highway,
Yeah.
like all those roads make sense.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, he does retain it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so obsessive though. Like
He can't stop
he
talking
does
about it.
not want to talk about anything else except countries now. And when he asks a question, and he does this a lot too, is he'll ask a question and you answer the question and he's like, "But what else? But what else? But what else?" So a word, for instance, I forget what word it was, but there was a word I said, or there was a word he asked, and I said, "It's just this." Again, I don't remember what it was. And he could not, he kept saying, "Well, what else?" And I was like, "Baby, that's it. Like just that. The word, that's what the word means."
It was new and no. So he
Oh,
knows
that was with you. Yeah.
so
Yep.
he knows that, KNEW is new, but he also knows that NEW is new.
And he
So
also and then yeah. Yeah.
so he wants to know what the difference is, but he knows what "no" is, KNOW,
Mhm.
and he wants to know what the difference is between all those words.
Mhm.
And so for us, it's just like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
You're like, "Okay." So now we're explaining it to him, and
Yep.
he's good, and once we tell him, it's good, but, like, he heard a word today, the word was "fury," and he said it in a way that we didn't understand, and then when we talked to him and
No,
asked
I think it was yeah,
it was "fury,"
Fury, yeah.
but he said it weird, and when we figured out what he meant, like, what the word was, we were like, "Spell it," and then but we don't want to explain what actual fury, wrath, whatever
Mhm.
is. So we were just like,
Really
it's
mad.
when you're really mad.
Really mad. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's just all of a sudden now there's this explosion of he wants to know what every word is. He wants to know where every country is. He
Mhm.
knows how many countries are in the entire world, which
Yeah.
we didn't know.
No, so he goes to a program, and one of the workers there
See McCannon's, I hope so, 'cause
he's
he taught like, he
brilliant.
literally taught us stuff today, and I was like, "I did not know
Well,
that." We
there's
had to look it up. We had to Google it. He knew
yeah,
it,
he was
and we
saying
had to
something
Google
the
it.
other day, and I was like, "I don't think that's a thing," and he's like, "No, it really is," and so we looked it up, and I was like, "Nope,
Oh,
you right."
he's right.
Well,
It was planets.
it
Who
was something
said
with
it? Judy
planets.
said it, or
Yep,
somebody said it, planets for them.
yep,
Yeah, he knew what, like, a small planetary
or
explosion was,
something, yeah.
and we were like, "That's not a word," and he is like, "It is. It means
Spelled
this."
it, and I looked it up, and I was
And
like, "Yep, yep,
okay,
you're right."
you're right.
Well, the thing is that I found, sometimes when you're scrolling on Instagram or whatever, you get, this random reel in your algorithm or whatever. And it was this one page where this dad critiques and goes through kids shows and he watches them and he gives you like which ones are good and which ones aren't good or whatever, like the ones to stay away from. And I found Storybots. And it's called Ask the Storybots. So what they do is these kids call in and they make videos and they ask these questions. And one of the questions was like, why does the sun come up? Or like, what are the planets made out of or something like that. And then the little story bots go through these adventures to answer the questions. One of them was like, how do you hear? And it was like you go into the ear and the canal and the this and the that and whatever. And he's explaining it to me. And I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is so knowledgeable, but he loves it.
He
And
does.
so, but what ends up happening is that I don't know all that stuff. Like, so he comes to us and he's explaining all of this stuff. And I'm like, hold on a second. So then I'll watch him with him and I'm like, holy crap. We actually like he actually is learning all of this stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, you don't even have to send him to school, just let him watch Storybots. Like, my kid, he's like,
Yep.
it's crazy what he's coming and telling us now with
Yeah.
Storybots,
But
and
he does. He like yes, Kenneth, and I agree with you. It can be overwhelming for parents, and it is because it's a nonstop thing. It's all day, every day, the same thing over and over and over and over again. And what happen something that we're trying to do is we're giving space, but also encouraging other types of conversations. That was something that I mentioned at the program that he goes to because I get there and they're supposed to be doing an art project, for instance. And that's great. Pick the stencils. I think they were supposed to use paint, but they forgot paint. So they got like fabric markers. I think it was like a bag. And then what ended up happening was that he just wanted to write the countries. So he wrote all the countries on there and kind of lost the activity that was being done. And not saying that he can't do what he, wants to do, but trying to stay in a structured, focused setting of doing that activity as for what it's meant to be done or how it's meant to be done. What ended up happening is that they gave him the freedom to do what he wanted. So then they reinforced that by giving him more access to it. So I go there and now he's looking up countries on one of the teacher's phones. So he's there to interact, he's there to socialize, he's there to be part of the group, and I felt like not by any fault anybody's,
No, they did.
but I
Yeah,
felt like it was more of a individual keep in the corner kind of thing versus going there and socializing, where that's something that him and I can do, or you and him can do, like here at home with us. I was kind of looking forward to more of being a part of that activity together with his friends, like talking about colors, talking about the bags. Why do you want to do that? And having that interactive part of it. So just again, just being a part of a team like is so important to us. And just saying that for us, just wanted to let you know that this is the new obsession and it's all day, every day. And we try to set almost a timer where it's like, okay, well, like this is what you got. And then let's try to move on to something else. So he
'cause
doesn't fixate on it so much.
that's his thing when it comes to autism is that he fixates, and he will learn everything he possibly can. Like, now he knows when he's sick, white blood cells, red blood cells, he'll tell you the whole thing. It's because he fixated on that.
Mhm.
And calendars. He can
He
tell
used to be
you, yeah,
calendars, yeah.
calendars was another humongous thing where he knew every holiday from now until 2028.
But it does still come up at the beginning of every month. He does need
Yeah,
to change all the calendars in the house. He needs to write everything on every calendar in the house, and because we have one in the kitchen and then we got one for him that's his individualized one or whatever. And he has to write everything on it the first of the month. If it's 2 or 3, excuse me, June 2nd or 3rd, like it's a little bit upsetting, but he
yeah.
he does it.
So that's a new thing, but it
Hi,
oh,
Jen.
Jen Gatz, hey, what's up, girl? I remember him drawing the calendars on the whiteboard in the gym. Yeah,
Yep.
he loves a whiteboard. I'm not saying like, hey, he loves a whiteboard. He's gonna be all good when it comes to working out and putting his numbers on the whiteboard. He does love a whiteboard, but
Mhm.
it just depends on what he's fixated on in that moment.
Yeah.
And so right now it's definitely countries. He wants to know where everybody's from. He even asked us where military is located in the I don't
Yeah.
know where he got that from, but I was like,
Well, he's been interested in flags, so of course interested in, the military flag or the American flag, and then I forget how I think it was Memorial Day? Yeah, I think he was asking about Memorial Day or something, or was seeing a commercial. It might have been the Born Primitive commercial that I, was just looking at on my phone really quick. He might have been over the shoulder, but he started to ask about, what's a veteran.
yeah.
And so I started to, explain very age appropriately that, they're kind of like police officers and firefighters. They keep us safe. They're here, and I explained that like his grandfather is a veteran and he was very proud to wear the hat and wanted to show like, so he's starting to ask those type of questions. But that's kind of where it is. But when he asked like, well, where is it? So like you were saying, where is the military? Well, it's everywhere. Well, what state?
Yeah.
Well, all states. Well, what country? So it's like it's constant. It's constant.
Yeah.
And when he asked, "Well, what does it look like?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I've never been there." And so like
He's asking what the country looks like.
right, right.
Yeah, and what size the country is
Mhm.
and whatnot,
Mhm.
and he knows his grandfather was a Marine, and, yeah, now he's all in it. This is what
Yeah.
he's fixated on it, and
It's very we're starting to notice.
and his
Yes.
5-minute AMRAPs of the
Yes.
day. Yeah, he used to make his own 5-minute AMRAPs to
Well,
start his
Jen,
day.
right now he's trying to get strong.
Yeah, he wants to
So
bulk up right now.
and he's gonna try to eat more protein. And I know everybody's like, yes, he's gonna eat some chicken. No,
No,
we're not there. Still eating cottage cheese. That's about as much protein as I can get in. And he actually did like a clean and jerk. So Jen, I will send you that video so you can see he's very, very proud of it and talks about going and getting stronger. So
Kenneth Lap teacher did that to me in 3rd or 4th grade. I didn't like it, singled me out as a smart kid.
mhm.
Uh, I don't think they do that to him right now just because still his speech isn't, uh you really have to engage him in the speech to figure out what he's trying to tell you.
Mhm.
He can talk to you and most of it you will get, but when he starts on one of his fixations, you really do have to kinda so, I don't know.
We have to bring him back. So
Yeah.
if we're having a conversation with him or we need to talk about something with him, rules, boundaries, whatever it is, what happens is that we're talking about it and then he starts to talk about what he wants to talk about and we actually have to stop him and say like, "Hold that thought, not yet. Let's finish what we were talking about. Did you hear what mommy said?" And that was something that we do a lot is just ask him if he heard what we said and if he understood what we said. And most of the time he says no because what's happening is that we're talking to him, especially if he feels like he's in trouble.
Yeah.
When he feels like he's in trouble and he's done something wrong, he isn't able to hear what we're saying. So we have to slow him down. We have to stop him midway from what he wants to talk about. And we say it again and we talk about that or whatever because he just always wants to talk about what he wants to talk about. So it's important for us to try to keep him on the topic of what we're talking about instead of allowing him to and then after we like finish the thought, I guess you could say, or whatever the topic is, and then then he gets his time to tell us all the things and ask all the questions and stuff like that. But I feel like for us, that's one of the big things right now is just trying to keep him focused on one topic at a time and not always the topic that he wants to talk about.
All right, this is our one political topic of the day, which yeah, I know, but it came out, so
Where's
shut up, Jeff. I don't have
is
to
it
do
Jody or
call-outs.
Judy that enjoys when I
Oh, rant?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So,
This one. This I forgot
yeah,
what the other one.
we'll get more into it later in the week. We're gonna have
Mm.
Super Awesome back on, because we haven't been able to get into this in a long time. But this dude, which I feel like is fun, but Senator Wiener, spoke in praise of AB 1955, which is basically a law that's like teachers and schools don't have to out their kids to their parents, which I want to preface again with saying like outing kids to the whole community, like to the school, to their peers, to their, whatever, is way different than just telling the parents that, hey, this is what your kid is saying, this is what your kid is telling me. Like being outed to your entire school, because the law is not about being outed to your entire school. The law is about being outed to your parents. So that's very different than whatever the ridicule could be for being outed to your entire school. So I just want to say that. But just the verbiage of this to me is concerning no matter like how you look at it.
Always there for these kids. These are our kids, and we need.
These are our kids. That's what he's saying. We need to always be there for our kids. Meanwhile, this man doesn't have any kids. He has no kids whatsoever.
To make sure that we are lifting them up and giving them a path to success. So we are working very hard to make that happen. And because we now, and this shows that representation matters,
representation matters. And we have to protect our kids. Whose kids? Whose kids are these kids? They're not his kids. They're not the school's kids. They're not the district's kids. They're completely taking the fact that these kids have parents out of it and just being like, yeah, we have to protect these kids. We
You
have to
are clumping kids or you're putting all the parents in one box
Yeah.
and saying that every single parent is incapable or incompetent to be a parent. That is the most frustrating thing about all of this is that I'm not saying that every parent is a good parent. We see a lot of really shitty parents out there. A lot of them.
things can happen. It's not even like
Right.
stuff happens.
Right.
There's some parents that are bad,
Yes.
but you're lumping us all
But you're
together.
taking away the rights of parents that parent. and that deserve to parent, and have, as you're talking about, that you have the right to protect our kids, your kids that are not your kids. We also have the right to protect our kids. You and I have a right to protect our son. And what you're doing is you're taking that away from us.
10% of the California legislature is now LGBTQ, 12 out of 120. And
Yay.
And it's
Pride
actually
Month.
mostly not San Francisco, LA. We have queer legislators from all over the state, from the Central Valley, from the Inland Empire, from San Diego. It's an amazing and beautiful tapestry of our community and tapestry of California. And even though we know that so much of the hate directed at our community is happening in other states, unfortunately, it's here in California too. And we know that we have school boards in particular in some very conservative areas that are demonizing and attacking our LGBTQ youth in ways that are so, so dangerous. And so about a week ago, our caucus, the 12 of us, we said, not on our watch.
Okay, so conservative states somewhere are demonizing LGBTQ youth, right? And what they're saying is that, like, hey, letting biological boys play sports with biological women or biological girls is, like, it's so unsafe for our LGBTQ youth. Like, it's not dangerous for LGBTQ youth. It's dangerous for young girls. I'm not talking about the alphabet mafia. Screw that. I'm over the alphabet mafia. Whatever. Fine. Blah. It's Pride Month. Blah. What he is trying to put under the guise of LGBT is really just for women. You're hurting young girls. You're hurting young girls in sports. You're hurting young girls in bathrooms. You're hurting young girls in figuring themselves out and not being like, you didn't want to sexualize young girls. Well, now you're allowing people to sexualize young girls with these stupid ass laws. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're putting it under a pride flag or putting it under the LGBTQ, what we were supposed to be and what originally we set out to be, that you're putting it under that is kind of crap. And it's hurtful and it sucks because it's unfair. Title IX, unfair how they redid that. And so for this guy, and again, last name Wiener.
You just have to keep saying
unfair, dude. Like, it's you're not helping LGBTQ youth. You're not only are you not helping them, but you're hurting young girls. You're hurting young girls. Has Chick, what's up? They put all the kids in a box too. My bro is in grade school.
He is a
grade school principal, and the number of kids who are not parented is crazy. These groups prey on those kids. Yeah,
100%.
Yep. And they use the fact that there are parents out there that are like that to demonize parents that aren't like that.
Yep.
And so they throw us all in a box, and it sucks.
That's my problem.
It's like, yes, there are parents out there that sucks. Yes, there are parents out there that are going to throw their LGBTQ youth in the street and forget about them. Yeah, sure.
You're not wrong.
And it sucks, dude.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And the experiences of these kids that go through that, where their parents do toss them out and they do say, don't call. Like, nobody's saying that that's not
it
real.
Happens.
It happens.
It does happen.
It absolutely happens.
But you're going to make a law that takes away from all parents. All parents. My grandparents were phenomenal when I came out. My grandparents were phenomenal when I was questioning.
Yeah.
Like, or not even questioning, like, just me just growing up and being a tomboy. They were phenomenal with that.
Mhm.
There was no problem. Kenneth Lab, it's almost like they all want us to homeschool at this point. Fair. I don't know if you guys remember this. You might be old, or you're probably old enough to remember I wasn't gonna go into this, but fine. Colleen, you and I talked about this the other day, but I don't know if you guys remember the movie, The Crying Game. It came out in the 90s. I think it came out in the 90s. And it was about a dude that was a transgender woman. And basically he got with a straight dude that didn't know that he was a dude.
Mhm.
And what they're doing to us now is they're trying to make it so that, like, hey, you don't have to disclose what you are. Like, obviously there are people that, like, hey, you're transgender. You can just look at them and be like, yo, you're transgender. But there are some of those transgender girls that and transgender boys that you're not going to be able to clock. Like, you're not going to know that they are transgender. You're going to think that they are the sex that they present.
Mhm.
And what they're starting to tell them is, hey, you don't have to disclose that. That's what's going to get them hurt. If you're saying that there's violence out there against transgender, this is why.
Mhm.
Because when a straight dude that wants to be with a biological female ends up with a transgender woman that didn't tell them that they were trans, and they put their hand down there, that's when the violence is going to happen.
Mhm.
That's when the violence against trans is going to happen. And they're going to use that to say, hey, there's a war on trans. It's not a war on trans. Is that you didn't tell the truth. You didn't say, I'm not a biological female. I'm a trans woman. It's when you tell them that they don't have to tell the truth.
Mhm.
And you're telling them that the truth is they're an actual woman. And then they meet an actual biological straight man. And that man is now pissed. And you're making it that man's fault that, like, he's upset and that there was violence and that, well, he's talking to another man. He's not talking to another female.
Mhm.
And I know that that is hard to grasp, but
They almost have it backwards.
yeah,
If you think about it, you're shouting from the rooftops and you want every single person in every single space to know how you identify and to know how you walk around. But what you're saying is that you don't feel like that you have to share an intimate part of you in an intimate setting. So what you're doing is you're take you're expecting choice in a very public, loud space, but you're not giving choice in the most intimate place, which is having sex. That is one of the most intimate places that you can be with another person. And what you're saying is that that person doesn't deserve to have the choice that you do. You don't want to be bothered with telling somebody how you identify and who you are in the most intimate form. And I've said this before. All of this shit that's being posted on Instagram and all of this movement that's happening, where is the privacy? Where is the fantasy? Where is the intimacy? Where is that? I share my most intimate feelings with you because I'm intimate with you. The world doesn't need to know. That's why I always say, get the hell out of my bedroom. Get the fuck out of my bedroom. There's nobody that needs to be in my bedroom but you.
sure.
But now you're saying that in that most intimate time that you don't have to share who you are.
Everything is about giving a person a choice. Like, everything that we're doing, we have the abortion issue. That's about a choice.
Mhm.
Do you have a choice? Do you not have a choice? I Listen, I do not. I have never given birth. I will never give birth. I don't know anything about it. Not my business. I have my opinions, but again, it's an issue that's about a choice. Um, Even for me as a lesbian, if a trans woman wanted to date me, I would say no. Yeah, I'm not attracted to trans women. I am attracted to biological women. It's about a choice.
Mhm.
I'm making a choice. Yeah, it's not that I don't like trans women. It's not that I'm not a fan. And like, go ahead, do your thing, be who you are
As an adult.
as an adult. But I'm not attracted to trans women, and that's my choice. For biological men being attracted to trans women, that's their if they're not, that's their choice. It doesn't make them transphobic, doesn't make them homophobic, doesn't it's a choice. You f freaking everything is a choice to own guns, to not own guns, a choice. I choose to not own a gun. I am not opposed to anybody else legally owning a gun. I'm not. Own guns, shoot guns, go hunting. I'm not you can choose to go hunting and shoot deer and shoot buffalo and shoot whatever. If it's legal and you wanna go do it, that's your choice to go do it. Like, I don't have a problem with any of that. But what they're trying to do is take our choice away as parents, take our choice away, like, as gay, straight people, like, straight, gay, they're trying to take everybody's choices away, and for me, that's not okay
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah.
Also, I love guns, Jonathan Ortega. Yeah, have at it. I'm all about it. Uh, so wait, I get confused. I'm dumb as fuck. Is a trans woman like a dude who wants to be a chick? That a trans woman is a dude that like is wants to be a chick, yes. Or a chick who is changing into a chick who's changing into a dude is a trans man. So like most people would think I'm a trans man because I'm a biological woman and I look like a dude. So that most people would just make it that assumption. Kenneth Delep. Oh shoot. I don't know. I can't bring it up, but I'll read it. I'm not saying, oh, thank you. Kenneth Delap. I'm not saying being trans is comparable to an STD, but what would it be like going around with herpes or AIDS and not telling? That's also freaking horrible. Like, no, you have like that's a choice. You have to give somebody a choice. It's no, that's not okay at all. Has chick, I have no idea. I never watched Shameful. Tell me why that's exploitative as fuck. Cause I didn't watch that. I heard of it, but I never watched it. Um, when confused. Oh yeah, just replace trans with fake works every time. Fake woman, fake man. Yeah, fair. Um,
It goes back to choice and consent.
yeah.
I mean, I think it really does. It
We
goes
talk
back to choice and consent. She said, "Don't
has
watch it."
chick, don't watch it. Okay, I won't. But yeah, it comes back to consent. Do I can
My question too is this whole idea about protecting our kids
yeah,
and what's being said in this movement is that there's only one way to protect kids, and it's their way.
yep,
And their way to protect kids is taking away choice, taking away parents, taking away stability, taking away childhood, taking away innocence. That's their way to protect children. And all that sounds like to me is that you're trying to make our kids adults. You're trying to move through childhood and almost take away their childhood. That's how you're going to protect our kids. But we're in the wrong when I say it is important for you and I to protect our son's joy, to protect our son's innocence, to protect our son's creativity, to protect our son's happiness and and being kind. Like,
the thing is, I would say is that we would be respectful, right? If I ever met a trans man or a trans woman, I'll call you. If you're an adult, I'll call you whatever you want me to call you.
100%.
I don't give a crap.
Because I'm a respectful person.
I'm happy to be respectful.
Right.
But what you're asking me to do is say that it's okay for biological boys to be in sports with biological women, and it's not. And you're asking me to say that it's okay for them to be in the same dressing room, or that testosterone doesn't give an advantage to the biological boys, or that girls should be okay and get counseling so that they can be in a dressing room with a boy with his dick out. I'm not okay with that.
You want
That's
us
I'll
to
be
be
respectful if you're respectful.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
And that's not respectful. Bernie Gannon, what's up, bro? Group identity is displacing individual identities. Yep. Nefarious leaders are conducting psyops for their own personal power and gain. Truth and choice are being shamed. Common sense and decent. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with that
Mhm.
wholeheartedly. That's the big picture, all the variation. Yeah. I would ask you this, if Bernie Gannon, if you're still in here, did you see I'll find it. I'll pull it up on another episode, but did you see the reel where, like, Obama said that if he could run for a third term, he doesn't want to run for a third term, but if he could find someone to be the mouthpiece for him for a third term, like, he'd be okay with that. Do you, if you have seen that, or if you buy that conspiracy, I was thinking about that and I was like, wow. Wow. I mean, I'm all for a good tinfoil hat theory, but that that one kind of hit me and I was like, because you look at Joe Biden walking around and he looks like Weekend at Bernie's. So I was wondering if you like that mouthpiece. I personally think it's the Clintons and Obama, but yeah, no, it's becoming the mob and not the individual choices, and that sucks for me. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, and all we're saying at the end of the day, we can have conversations about what we see, what we hear, and whatever. But at the end of the day, as two parents, we will always do what we feel like is best for our kid. And if other people have issues with that, that's okay. Always up for a conversation. But at the end of the day, we're always gonna do what we feel like is best for our kids. So
Pedro touched my gun, only gun he has ever touched, not a euphemism. Thanks for the ammo, bro. Bernie Gannon, I probably saw that, but dismiss most political stuff these days. Yeah, I get that.
I don't blame you.
It's an election year. We're gonna have some fun. There's gonna be some stuff rolling around. I've heard a lot of stuff already, so it's
Mhm.
gonna be a good time. But
Yep.
we'll see you guys. Just want to touch on that again. We're gonna have Super Awesome back. She went in front of the school board again, and
In Ohio, I think, right?
yeah, in Ohio.
Yep.
We're gonna get into some of that, and then I'll let you know about who we schedule. We're working on some things right now, but otherwise, thank you guys for always hanging out, and thank you for always helping us get better. Appreciate y'all.
Bye, guys.
Deuces.